What's up, y'all? I'm Masta along with Coach Tony Brace, and we're here to bring you another webisode of Master Mentors with HipHopSuccess.tv. Now, last week, for webisode 1, we talked about the Lamar Odom situation and how to bulletproof your mindset to avoid a career-end tragedy that could end in a brothel, which is what happened in his case. But just for an update, Lamar Odom is making a road to recovery, so we wanted to send blessings to him and his family. But for today's webisode, we're going to talk about 4 steps for student athletes to reduce drama and scandal before their collegiate career even begins. For the case study, we're going to analyze the Louisville, Kentucky basketball program scandal under Rick Pitino. Now, allegedly, he had an assistant coach that had outings with strippers for prospective athletes as well as current athletes, where they had strip shows as well as offers for sex. Now,
offers for sex and strippers?
Yeah.
At a college program?
At a college program, and what's funny is...
No, they wouldn't do such a thing, would they?
Well, this is alleged, though. This is alleged. And the thing is, it's kind of crazy because, I mean, even me, you know, I was a collegiate athlete, and going to a college on a recruiting visit and then seeing strip shows, and then we can go a step further. This is how it is. Like, I mean, to some it might be the life. To others, it might be red flags. For me, I would have been like, hey, this is a lot. This is cool. Right. But this is a lot, you know. Right. I thought I was just going to see a little game, you know, or what, you know, or whatever. But in any case, being a student athlete, you have to realize that when you go to college, you know, you have to value education.
Absolutely.
And also with that education, going to college, you're going to get this experience where you get to meet different people who have been through different walks of life and from different areas, ethnicities, and then from different disciplines of whatever they study. You know, later on that builds networking connections. You know, when you become an alumni, you know, being a part of that college or that business or that mathematics or law program, that's going to give you so many networking opportunities. Another thing with college is, or being a student athlete as well, is you're going to save your parents a lot of money being in collegiate athletics.
Absolutely.
I went to Hampton University, and it's a private school. It's about $35,000 a year. That's over $100,000 a year.
In 4 years.
In 4 years, my fault. In 4 years, it would have been over $100,000.
Yeah.
And so that's a lot of money that I saved from my parents going to college as a student athlete, you know. And there's academic scholarships as well. But also being a student athlete, going to the next level of collegiate athletics or even colleges, you're a role model not only for your parents, but also for your community and the little ones that you don't even know that are watching you, you know. So that's a lot of responsibility that you have, but at the same time, you want to excel, you know, you want to get to the next level, even dreams of being professional. Going to the collegiate level is one of those things. But in the fundamental reason of going to college is to get a degree. Numbers and percentages of making it to a professional career in athletics is astronomical.
Slim, very
slim.
Less than 1%, right?
Right. So if you just do the math, you might want to stay on the state side and really bank on getting your degree and actually knowing your degree. That's the fundamental reason why you go to school anyway. So that's one thing I really stress. But talking about collegiate athletics and programs, in this case, the lengths that Kentucky went to try to get athletes, and probably did. Louisville.
But I'm sure.
I'm sorry.
Kentucky recruits because they're the, you know, what's his name? My man. He's the #1 recruiter in NCAA basketball for the last couple of years.
Which one?
Come on, man. Drake likes to hang out with him. What's his name? Not Coach K, that's Duke. Calipari. Coach Calipari.
Oh, that guy.
But we're talking about Louisville and the Rick Pitino case. But my point is, it's all applicable across all sports, all D1, D2, D3s, those sort of things.
That kind of black market, or so to speak, under the table activity, I'm sure it goes on. I'm not going to sit here and be naive because I was a collegiate athlete. And I'm not trying to name call, but at the same time, the case study, we're talking about the Louisville, Kentucky program scandal, allegedly, that's happening right now. But, you know, for you, coach, you're a parent and a coach right now, currently, of a prospective athlete that is probably going to go to college.
Yeah.
So looking at this case study, my question to you is, how does that make you feel being a parent and a coach for an athlete like that? How does it make you feel that these programs and the lengths that they'll go just to acquire an athlete, like, how does that make you feel?
It would make me feel, if this is all true in terms of the fact checking and we know this was accurate, then we know there's a lot of hypocrisy in these programs.
It's hypocritical.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You have these leaders of these organizations, whether it's the president of the university, the athletic director, the head coach, assistant coaches, right? They're teaching these kids principles and values, and one of the number one values that come to mind for me is integrity. So if it is true and there's a lack of integrity, it's really, really sad. But at the same time, not making any excuses for these people, I understand how it happens, because the NCAA has such a chokehold on the money side of the business, which creates a lot of pressure to recruit athletes and, no pun intended, to make the recruiting process sexy, if you will.
Yeah, approachable, approachable, nice, and colorful, something that it's attractive to them, Hey, if it's a basketball team,
let's be real. If I was 17, I'm like, man, I had a great experience. Of course I want to go to this university. It's on. We turn up out there.
Right.
We have a ball. So it's all to the good. I'm going to this university because the coach is cool, and it's wonderful. So it entices recruits to come in, and unfortunately there's allegations and infractions. We've seen it with USC. We've seen it with the University of Miami.
Right.
We've seen it with SMU, where they got the death sentence, if you will. So share with our viewership, Phil, because you were a D1 athlete, track and field, 4-year scholarship athlete at the University of Hampton, I believe.
Correct.
Okay. Share with me the experience that you and your family had, for both you and your brother, when you guys went through that recruitment process. Was there any pressure, any of that sort of thing? Did you see anything? We're not going to throw anybody under the bus.
Right.
But did you see anything that you were like, whoa, in hindsight, if I had a kid now, he shouldn't make that decision, because it could be a minor violation or a major violation. Right.
Well, obviously I only speak from personal experience, but when me and my brother, those of you who know us and those of you that don't, we finished 8th and 9th in the country our senior year. But prior to those years, sophomore, junior, and senior year, well, of course we were already getting interest from, Division III to Division I schools. Now, when we were getting contacted, obviously it was by high volume, and my mom, she would open some letters, take some phone calls, and they eventually started to come more and more and more. So then we told the coach, and the coach actually asked my mom, when are they calling you? What times of the day? What months of the year? Because there's actually NCAA regulations and windows for when colleges can and cannot make contact with an athlete, the coach, or the parents or guardians. Now, when my coach, my high school coach, asked my mom that, it woke her up and said, hey, we need to really take a step back for a second and really understand the rules of what's going on here in terms of contact with these programs, because that could affect me and my brother's eligibility. It could also hurt the program, which, there were some cases where some colleges actually reached out to us too early, and, that was putting their program in jeopardy. So what we did was we took a step back and actually read the NCAA regulations along with my coach and my mom, so that we can understand in terms of communication what we can and can't do. Just made it a little bit safer, because you're excited, they're calling you, sending you letters, wanting you to be a part of their program, and you get kind of a real high energy from that. You get a little buzz, you're bragging about it, your friends.
You work hard, but you get to feel yourself a little bit too, right?
Like they hit me up, but you got to understand there's rules to that. There's rules, and there's huge repercussions for that. You could lose a scholarship because you get accepted, but then you actually find out through the recruiting process rules were broken, and then you lose your scholarship.
Yeah.
Then that would be that's
about $100 and something thousand down the drain, right?
Right down the drain, off of some communication errors. Yeah. So it is very monumental and pivotal, also significant that you read those guidelines and regulations that the NCAA obviously provides you. They can be found on ncaa.org. That gives you everything from if you even want to be a student athlete. And then if you do, what are the processes and procedures that you need to follow in order to make yourself make you qualified to engage in that kind of communication with higher level programs, which is the collegiate level, of course.
Now, some of the things that I can think of, me working with high school athletes, college athletes as well, and kind of mentoring them through that process to make sure that they are in compliance, that them and their family are doing the due diligence. Number one, what I like to tell them as a family, before you take your first recruiting trip, set some goals. What do you want to get out of this journey in terms of your degree, in terms of the alumni and network opportunities after sports? Okay, that's number one, set some goals. Number two, do your research. Some of these universities have been slapped on the wrist time after time for violations. So do you want to put yourself in a situation just because this is a top 5 conference school, whether it's Pac-12, SEC, if you don't do your research, you don't know that this school has a high propensity to have these minor violations.
Right, they might have a track record.
That's something that you want to do. And then number 3, emphasizing what you said, is go to the NCAA.org website, download the pertinent information, reach out to the compliance officers. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to harass the NCAA about these rules or the coaches of the program about these rules, because guess what? I've seen it. When they're recruiting athletes, they will harass you.
They're going to come after you.
When that time is coming, if you're at a high level, they're calling your parents 3-4 times a week trying to sell you on the program. So do your homework. Also, number 4, if they offer any sort of orientation or workshops, make sure that you and your parents attend, if parents are attending. And more importantly, when you go to the workshops, take it serious. Take a pen, a paper, and a highlighter and take notes, right? Ask questions to get clarity, those sort of things. So that's what we're offering here at Master Mentors, is to give you this insight, to give you some tips and some advice to avoid a potential Louisville situation.
Absolutely.
What are your thoughts on that?
If I'm going to tell a student athlete what's going to happen at the next level, look at what you really want to study. And some people don't, but some people actually do have an idea of what they want to learn in college. Now, if this big Division I school or one with a very prestigious program wants you, but you want to study
to get a major engineering.
Right, if you're a big chemical engineer, and this big prestigious school doesn't have a very good chemical engineering school, and that's what you want to learn, you might not want to go just because they have that prestigious program. You want to go to a respected school that carries that major that you are passionate about and that you will actually do well in because you want to learn it. So go towards the programs. If you want to go to a prestigious school, go to those programs that also carry the major that you want to learn. That'll set you apart, make your decision a lot easier. Also, analyzing a program, don't just look at all the money and the big school that they have. Look at the end result. Look at the athletes that they produced. Not, they might have a lot of championships, but there's a lot of research involved. Do they have big time? Look at the freshmen going in. Do they have career-ending injuries early? Right. Maybe their training program's too rigorous for a person.
Something that you shared with me in your own experience, you got recruited by the University of Alabama. That's right.
Yeah, that was my first.
The Crimson Tide. So
right.
He was on that level. But when you did your research, you discovered that there was more Olympians because you ran track and field, more Olympians produced at Hampton University than the University of Alabama.
Right.
Now, most people would think Alabama because they have a great football program that obviously they produce top track and field athletes, but based on the research and the findings, that wasn't a fact.
Right, exactly. And with that, Hampton University is a Division I school, and Alabama also is. They're in the SEC. Hampton University is in the MEAC. Yeah, Alabama might have 37,000 people at that school. Hampton, 8 to 10,000. A lot smaller school. But I looked at the end result of the type of athletes they produce, and also their graduation rates. That's another thing. There's all kind of research you got to look at with programs, student athletes, and also their graduation rates. Hampton has a very good graduation rate in conjunction with their student athletes. So that's what made me gravitate towards that decision of going there into a somewhat smaller school than a huge one like Alabama and SEC. No discredit to University of Alabama. That's a great school, but I'm just talking from personal experience why I made a certain decision.
That's right. See, that's what Master Mentors is all about. Taking you through our experience and our journeys and giving you the information. I like to say giving you the game.
The game.
So you can minimize mistakes. So you can minimize distractions. So you can put yourself in a win situation.
That's
right. So you're talking about winning. Win from within.
From within. It starts in here first.
In this think tank.
Mm-hmm. So in closing, we just want to let you guys know, if you have any questions, hit us up on Twitter, email us, hiphopsuccess.tv@gmail.com, hiphopsuccess.tv on Twitter, as well as Instagram. Send us any questions, #MasterMentors. Also, send in a 3 to 4 minute video on your experiences, your, being a collegiate athlete. Are you going through the process? Maybe you already went through it like me. We want to know, your respective situation and the situations and issues that you dealt with, and also, how was the end result? Did you finish and get your degree? Did you not? Did you have to transfer? We want to hear all those stories so that we can share them with the rest of the hiphopsuccess.tv community. So that wraps up for today. I'm Master Phi.
I'm Coach Tony Brace. You can find me at Coach Tony Brace on all social media. Master Mentors, hiphopsuccess.tv. Webisode number 2. I'll be excited when we hit our 100th webisode. But until then, peace.
Peace.